Alright, so this was the basement floor plan, and we are finished with that. So this is below the main floor plan. If you look on page 4-17, this is the main floor plan. And so this is the ground level floor plan. And the thicker walls in the basement are because, well, they're like retaining walls. It's underground. We don't want the soils material buckling these walls. They need to be strong and sturdy to hold back any of the dirt and soil around, this basement. You know, they dig a hole in the ground, put up all these really sturdy walls using reinforcement and concrete and what have you. And that's why they're so thick. And if you look on page 4-17, we're about to create a main floor plan, and they're not as thick because they don't need to be. They don't need to be as thick because they're not holding back a massive wall of dirt underneath ground. All right, so now let's go ahead and Control-Shift-Save. We are saving. Yeah, see, floor plan B is basement. Now we're doing floor plan 1. So we're going to go ahead and save this as floor plan drawing 1. It's asking you to set the limits. I'm saying, you don't have to. Go ahead and save this. And I'm not sure if it has all the same dimensions. It might. So let's check this out. "28 feet. I'm sorry. I'm going to go ahead and check the properties. What just happened? There we go. So, properties. This is not 28 feet in length. What is it? Oh, wait a minute. It's measuring the outer one. It is 28 feet in length. Right here. Okay, so that's right. And right now, I'm just double checking and verifying that what we did was correct. So this is 33. I remember that. This is 6. And so there might not be much we have to do in terms of changing. We don't have to redraw really all of this. It's just some of the interior walls that we do have to change. And so I'm just double checking because I'm paranoid like that. And I admit it. I'm sorry, I have a problem. All right. Let's see, 32. Yep. And I honestly think it's a great habit. I got nothing against people having a little bit of paranoia when it comes to drafting. To me, it makes my drafting better and easier when I do have a little bit of this anxiety to make sure everything is right. Okay, so everything is correct. And it looks like we are extending these walls down. This wall gets deleted. Delete. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because we need to clean up some line work. We'll use the fillet. Check that out. All right, so interior walls. Wait a minute. We do have to. These were offset at 8 inches, and it looks like the exterior walls are offset at 6.5 inches. And so these dimensions on the inside lines will change. Because remember I said And if you look at page figure-4-16, it clearly shows a section of the basement concrete block walls in the basement and the uh, typical studded wall um, with the insulation and vapor barrier, as well as gypsum board. There's also some siding as well. And so we need to adjust for that. So the most exterior point does line up with the most exterior point of the 8-inch concrete block. So we're going to get more interior space on this floor than the basement. And so we could do this one of two ways. We could move each line 2 inches, actually an inch and a half, 1.5, and let's check this spacing right here. Yep, 6.5. So I did that math in my head. And it's 1.5. And then fillet, here we go. We got to do this all the way around. Now, rather than doing that, you can just offset 6.5 inches, spacebar. There we go. That is also a possibility as well. You know, there's more than one way to do this. This line, I'll probably move 1.5. And here we go. Oops. Again, this is part of that barrier for exterior walls. So fillet and the garage. Now, the last video I mentioned that this was the garage area, but actually that was the basement area. This is where the cars will park. The basement area, the walls were thicker because it was actually a basement, and it needed those walls. And this area, we have a thick wall right here where the garage meets the house because of what I said previously. That, you know, this is a fire rated wall that goes all the way from the floor to the roof. All right, so let's do this. It looks like we do not need these lines, and let's see what the measurement is here. Properties. Yeah, so we need to move this down. And let me move this down 1.5 inches. So 1.5. And you know what? Just to make life easier over here, I'm going to delete these and just offset these. .5. So offset 6.5. Now, rather than making a fuss, let's just go ahead and do that. So you see what I just did there? I offset this, and then I know there's another line here. I want to delete that. But I selected both lines. And if you want to deselect, hold Shift and deselect. And now I can delete that line. Again, we want to make sure we're not doubling up on our lines. Control Z. Extend. Here we go. And now I can trim. Alright, so offset. Let's go back. Now offset remembers my previous entry. So I'm going to go ahead and I can delete this because I can fillet here and here at a 0. Here and here. And again, I'm just pushing spacebar because I entered fillet command one time. We might have to delete these walls because yep, they don't exist on the main floor plan, so I'm not worried about those. Right now, we are creating the main floor. And typically when you have a basement, they call this first floor that's closest to the ground main floor. There we go. I can draw a line or copy this line. If I just hit the letter L and spacebar, like, I don't know, one less letter to type. Again, this is how I'm thinking in terms of drafting. All right, looks like these two lines are extended down all the way. And I can use trim. So I just hit the spacebar twice. And there we go. We got those lines. And it looks like that might be it for the main floor. Let me double check. And so, okay, so it looks like we have a little bit more work to do on the main floor. This is not quite complete. And it looks like we have to do 4.5-inch thick walls for the garage. So let's see how thick our walls are. 6.5. So I can move this 2 inches in this direction and just type 2. Do the same here. 2. And here, oh, gotta make sure these are connected. Here I want to draw a line up there. And the reason why I want to do that is because this line only needs to move 2 inches. And let's see, this line needs to move 2 inches. Fillet, fillet. And I'm cleaning as I go because I don't want to forget. And this part right here, I know the book doesn't tell you about a particular command that I find very useful for situations like this, where you have one solid line, but you need to move just this portion over 2 inches. And so this is a great command. Break, BR, spacebar. And I just like to break it close to here and then use the fillet command. And then that way I can move this 2 inches this way, and then I can just trim what I don't need. There you go. We might have to extend this more. So it looks like this. This is more accurate. There we go. Again, don't forget to clean up all and inspect all your corners and make sure that they're all connecting. That is critical. All right, so looks like we're going to do more walls on the interior when we turn over to page 418. And we'll go ahead and make that part of part 3 of this exercise. And so let me go ahead and save this, Control S, and I'll be back for part